Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Friday, you guys. Happy Friday. Happy Friday after the debate. Happy debate kick-ass Friday. Yes. This was an incredible week. It's a crazy week. It's weird. It's a very weird week. I am feeling a good deal better since last week. I still do have a occasional cough. In fact, that cough was so bad it had it knocked my back out. Like could barely walk this week. That's how bad my back was. But got some antibiotics, feeling much better now. Thank you very much for asking. Nobody asked, but I told you anyway. Zelda, I see you there at the top once again. Welcome, Zelda. Claudia, Candace Toomey is here. Blue Lady is here. Meredith Powell. Excuse me. The ABX girl, I see you there, my friend. Mama AG. You guys had a robust conversation here today. Punxsutawney Mo, there he is. What's up, buddy? The Trump Reaper is here. See, the gang is all here. There's Bernadette H. Fox Hill Dreams. Welcome, my friend. CJ is here. Stephanie L. from Florida is here. Tracy M., a.k.a. Nurse Mitch, is here. Michelle is here. Cindy C., I see you, my friend. RJ, I say, Reaper. I completely understand that he got his ass kicked. He did indeed. And we're going to get into all that. Are you sure this wasn't COVID? It was COVID. I did absolutely have COVID, and then I tested negative. I think 5 or 7 days later, and now I am much better. Mexical Maggie. Let's see, Samantha Hawkins. Philosophy. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the stories of the day.
Stories of the day.
Okay, so today's cover story, the main topic is Trump terrified of Kamala. And can you blame him? No, you cannot blame him, because he thoroughly got his ass eviscerated. I mean, I've watched these presidential debates for as long as I can possibly remember. This is easily, I'm going to say, top 3, if not the best debate performance I've seen all time. And I'm also including when Hillary Clinton walked his ass like you wouldn't believe. I think this had to top that, because it was more complete. Anyway, so yeah, and that debate performance, she won before even, I would say, a single word was spoken. We'll get into that in a minute. Excuse me. And who the heck is Laura Loomer, and why is she all over the place? Why is she hanging all over Donald Trump anywhere you look? And do we want to even see that? We'll get into that. And last but not least, we will also get into the ugly rumor that it's more of a conspiracy theory. Actually, it's been confirmed. It's been debunked that it's bullshit. And so we'll get into the origin of where the hell this came from and what it is doing to the community in Springfield, Ohio. And before I forget, make sure you please hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button. It looks like the thumbs up there. Please do that. It helps the channel out. It helps me out. It makes me happy. It makes me smile in the middle of the night. Thank you. Hello, Lulu Girl and Mama AG, Stella Baxter. I see you guys. Very quickly, I want to talk about that movie I said I was going to watch last week, and wifey and I did watch it. It's called Rebel Ridge. It's phenomenal movie. It's very good. It's not the most actiony movie that I've ever seen, but there is good action in it, and there's like a good. I don't know. You wouldn't call this a revenge movie. It's not so much, but it kind of is. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but suffice it to say, this brother goes into a small town to bail out his cousin, and he runs into some crooked cops who take his bail money. And that's a thing, actually. That's a thing that apparently is legal. I forget what they call it. It's like asset forfeiture or something, where cops can actually seize your assets if you happen to be driving on a road and a cop stops you, and they find probable cause to open your trunk, and they find like $50,000 in there. They could take it, and I think keep it too. We talked about that on this show like a few years back. Anyway, he does not take that sitting down. That's all I'll say about that. Very good movie. Very captivating performance. I can't remember the name of the main actor in this, but he's very talented. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff from this brother, who's apparently British. He's from across the pond, like our friend Simon Powell, who I don't see yet. Simon, if you're there, I'm shouting you out, brother. And this is a show that I'm watching. It's on Peacock. I highly recommend you guys watch this show. It's great. It is star-studded. It's starring Kevin Hart, which apparently Kevin Hart is like he's like a love him or hate him kind of guy. Some people love him. I love him. Some people hate him. I don't know why. I mean, he's just a comedian, just doing funny things, but some people think he's extra. He's too much. He's all over the place. That's because he's a hardworking brother. He's making money on those commercials. I'm not hating on him. Anyway, Fight Night, the $1 Million Heist, is based off of a true story about the night when Muhammad Ali faced Jerry Quarry in Atlanta. And this was back in the days when like Atlanta was heavily racist against black people, like heavily racist. They didn't want Muhammad Ali, the governor, mayor, they didn't want Muhammad Ali even in the city. It was a very big deal. So this was a big fight, and Kevin Hart is looking to kind of parlay himself. He plays this character named Chicken Man, and Chicken Man, he knows pretty much knows everybody. He's one of those guys. He knows your aunt, and he knows your grandmother. He knows the guy down the block. He knows the guy at the repair shop. He knows a little bit of everybody. So that positions him. That puts him in a position to try to power broker, right? And that's where he gets himself in trouble. He decides that he wants to throw a party for this big shot named Frank, played by Samuel Jackson. But this guy, Frank, he's like the head of the black mafia, and little does Kevin Hart's character, Chicken Man, know, but there's a group of people who plan to rob this party and rob all of these black mafia types. Very dangerous, precarious situation. Incredible performance, I would say, from Kevin Hart, who most people know as, doing comedies and stuff. That brother has some serious dramatic acting chops. I highly recommend this. I can't recommend this any higher than I'm already recommending it now. Great show. What's up, Jetstar? I see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And as you can see, it's not only Samuel Jackson, Taraji P. Henson, Don Cheadle, uh, crazy Terrence Howard and Kevin Hart, among other very talented actors in this show. Definitely recommend this. And yes, Trump Reaper, thank you for that. We lost James Earl Jones this week, who, not only was he the voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa, and this is CNN. I mean, he was incredible, incredible actor. Um, I also know and love him from one of my favorite, all-time favorite movies, Coming to America. That's one of those movies, if no matter how many times I've seen it, if it's on TV, I'm watching it. Yeah. Excuse me. And Frankie Beverly too. Thank you. Thank you, Bernadette. Yes, Frankie Beverly, who I was not all that familiar with, but he's a huge star. So, last but not least, there is a movie that came out earlier this year that I am curious to see. It's called Civil War. And not just because every time the Russian bots are active, the words civil war start trending. They want to throw some kind of negative messaging about President Biden, or they want to deflect attention away from Donald Trump or whatever. Civil war inevitably ends up trending. And this has nothing to do with the Civil War from the 1860s. This takes place in current day America. This is it's a fictitious account of, and I'm not sure how Civil War breaks out, but if you're on Twitter enough, you can guess. Probably has something to do with racism or something. Some state doesn't want to pay for some procedure or whatever. Anyway, I think Texas and California end up like allied in this. It's weird. So yeah, Kirsten Dunst is in this along with a bunch of other people, and apparently it's not very clear who is the bad guy, who is the Union in this. So I'm curious. I'll let you know what I think after seeing this movie. RJ says they hear it's a troll on MAGA. I'm assuming you mean MAGA. And Trump Reaper says maggots really want Civil War too. We say that, but I don't think they really want that. Meal Team 6, I don't think, has the motivation or the stamina to get into all that. There's probably some extreme members on the far right who would like that. They might as well be anarchists. But I think the majority of people, they don't want that. Oh, joy and pain. Joy, pain, sunshine, and rain. Are you talking about that one? That's a great song. I could have sworn that was CL Smooth and Pete Nice. what do I know? All right. Excuse me. Sorry. Last but not least, I was contacted by someone who worked on the Apprentice movie. They contacted me via email because they heard or they saw my tweet on Twitter where I was just mentioning the fact that that Donald Trump was unsuccessful in blocking The Apprentice from hitting movie theaters. And he was trying to block this movie. The Apprentice is about Donald Trump, basically. But he was trying to block this movie from hitting theaters because it shows there's a scene where he brutally attacks Ivana Trump, his first wife. So the person who contacted me sent me a link to their latest trailer, their first trailer, and asked me if I'd be willing to share it. They said, if not, no big deal. And I looked at it, and it was an interesting trailer. It had a nice, catchy soundtrack, but I just thought, this trailer is a bit too peppy for my likes. Like it looks like, the way the trailer looks, it's like, hey, we're gonna have a fun time with Donald Trump. I'm like, nah, I don't I'm not sharing that. Obviously, there's some down moments in this too, but it shows him and Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn, his mentor, I guess, teaches him how to be the most evil Donald Trump he can possibly be. Win at all costs and et cetera, et cetera. I still want to see it, but I don't know about that trailer. I replied to him. I said, "You got another one? Because this one is too peppy for my audience." So let's talk about this past week. Kamala Harris, after the debate, in the 24 hours after this fantastical debate, her campaign raised $47 million in 24 hours. And most of it, I believe, was from like single, small money donors, like something like 300 or 600,000 of them. Hang on, let me see. I have notes here. 600,000 individual donors. That's incredible. It's incredible. So where is she now? Well, this week she spent some time in North Kakalaki. She was in North Kakalaki yesterday, which is where she is putting it down in North Carolina. She's forcing Trump's campaign to have to spend money there, where normally they wouldn't spend there because it's not normally considered a red state. But Fox News, as recently as today or yesterday, Fox News changed North Carolina and Georgia from lean Republican to toss up. So that's huge, especially since it's coming from Fox News, Donald Trump's favorite station. But not only is she laying some tracks down in North Kakalaki, she's also in Pennsylvania. Not just Pennsylvania. Hey, Simon, I see you there, my friend. Not just Pennsylvania, but Wilkes-Barre. I think it's Wilkes-Barre or Wilkes-Barre. Punxsutawney Mo, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Wilkes-Barre or Bar? my pronunciation. And also, Mo, if you're still here, if you're still listening, my other question for you is, am I wrong in saying that area or Johnstown is considered a red part of here's Mo here. He's here. Pick your MAGA conspiracy host gave question speaker ear. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. Remind me, please. But Mo, the need to know where she is now is Johnstown, PA. Is that considered a red area in Pennsylvania? Confirm that for me, please. Stella Baxter, meanwhile, is saying 400,000 have signed up to vote since Taylor Swift endorsed the Harris Waltz ticket. That came right at the Johnstown is red. He says that's where Kamala Harris is right now. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Actually, hang on. I have a tweet about that. Is it here? Here. Here. One Trump ally didn't think the stop was particularly meaningful, saying it appeared to simply be on her path to leave the state and head towards Chicago, the site of the Democratic National Convention. She didn't go out of her way to do that, this person said. I mean, if she starts showing up in Johnstown and starts showing up in Bethlehem, maybe I'm going to have some different takes here. Well, she is in Johnstown right now, and that's a very big deal. It is a big, big deal because it means that she's not afraid to expand her reach, to speak to a different audience, to talk to not just to step outside of the bubble of comfort, so to speak, and reach out to some maybe she'll find she's not going to convince any diehard Trump supporters. She won't. But can she possibly reach some? Can she possibly reach some Nikki Haley voters? That's a very strong possibility, I think. And in fact, if you look at here's the line. Here's a line of people waiting to see her in Johnstown right now. Not insignificant, not small. Yeah. So that is a saying of some things. So we will see where that leads. Right now, as of today, the Morning Consult conducted a poll, and it shows Kamala Harris with a 50 to 45% lead over Donald Trump post debate. Pre debate, she was leading, but it was only 49 to 46. So that is that's a 2-point swing. I think it's one. Yeah, that's a 2-point swing. So that's not insignificant in a race which people are still saying this is tight and is going to be tight down to the wire. Ladies and gentlemen, basically what this race turns out to be is turnout. It's turnout. And it's going to be whoever can get the most voters to show up before and on election day. So the post-debate perceptions, this is an interesting thing here. According to this survey here, I believe it is it's an Ipsos survey. 53% believe that Kamala won the debate. 47% over 35 think that Kamala made them feel more hopeful about the future. 52% to 29% say she gave the impression of having higher moral integrity. Meanwhile, 52% said that Donald Trump stumbled and didn't appear sharp. 56% to 26 thought that Kamala Harris appeared more dignified. 48% thought that Kamala seemed more like someone I would want to have a casual conversation with. 49 to 33% thought that Kamala seemed like someone who would listen to me and understand my concerns. This tracks, folks. This absolutely tracks with reality, I think. And it's funny. I'm gonna say this. I posted a tweet earlier this week that kind of went bonkers in terms of impressions, and where I was talking about these so-called undecided voters. It irks me to no end with these news shows. I'm gonna primarily I'm putting most of the onus on MSNBC because that's primarily what I watch. And in fact, I don't know, like during the day, MSNBC is pretty much garbage. From I'm going to say from Ana Cabrera, is that her last name? Ana Cabrera, all the way to Katie Tur's show at 3 p.m. That's all that shit is garbage. It's not worth watching until Nicole Wallace shows up. But all of those shows, holy frijoles! Zelda, my friend, thank you so much. Thank you so kindly for the generous donation to Storytime with BDD. Greatly appreciate your support of this show. Thank you so much. What was I saying? I was saying that hang on. Freaking lost my shit. Anyway, so the only person worth watching is Nicole Wallace, but those Undecided voters. These shows, these shows on TV, it seems like they focus on the most clueless people, completely clueless. I don't understand if you've been living on planet Earth with us for the past 10 years and you have zero idea, no feelings whatsoever about Donald Trump. Have you not heard of January 6th at all? Nothing? Have you not heard anything about his being found liable for sexual assault? Have you not heard anything whatsoever about his 88 indictments? Nothing? Is your head completely up your ass? It's insane. I saw a meme the other day, which was hilarious. On one side, on the left, there's a person eating like a delicious ice cream sundae. It's got, you know, chocolate and vanilla covered in whipped cream, and it's got sprinkles and cherry on top. And on the right side is a picture of a person getting kicked in the face, and then down below is a person, undecided voter, like, I think I need to know what flavor that ice cream is. Like, are you kidding me, bro? You have to think about whether you want a kick in the face or a delicious ice cream. Come on. It drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. It's either a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a diarrhea and vomit sandwich. What kind of bread is it? What? Come on. Come on. Either these guys are trolling us. I feel like it's a little bit of both, right? I feel like it's a little bit of the people that they're interviewing want attention. It's like, hey, these people, finally somebody in my entire, nobody ever asked for my opinion, and now there's a news camera here. I get to tell people they're listening to they're waiting on my every syllable. If I tell them I'm going to vote for Kamala, they're just going to walk away and find somebody else. If I tell them I'm voting for Trump, then all of my friends are going to disown me, and then these cameras are going to leave anyway. Maybe I'll make it look like I'm thoughtful. I just don't know enough about Kamala yet. That's what it is. I don't know. Who is she? Was she in office at some point in her life? Did she do anything noteworthy? Is she someone I should know? Drives me crazy. Drives me absolutely crazy. So, yeah, those undecided voters. I don't even know how I got off on this tangent. For real. Let me just continue with the show. We're talking about poll. Oh, that's why, because we're talking about poll results. So, post the debate, who performed better? 63% said Kamala Harris, and this is a poll from the Hindu. Excuse me. 37% said Donald Trump. Pre-debate, who will perform better? It was 50-50. It was a toss-up. Surprising how low people's expectations were for Kamala Harris. And I would attribute that mostly to Donald Trump spending most of his time insulting her intelligence, saying that she's dumb as a rock, she can't complete a sentence, all those things. That's on you, bro. You're an idiot. You are an idiot for once again driving expectations for her way down. So as long as she completed a sentence, she was able to articulate her thoughts and ideas intelligently, unlike you, who cannot complete a sentence. It's a win for her. And then post June 27th, TV debate. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden was at 33 to Trump's 67. Here's another post-debate poll by Reuters Ipsos, showing Kamala Harris with a 5-point lead, 5%. That's huge because it's outside of the margin of error. That's very good. Yes, Melissa McQueen. I saw those things calling Kamala a hoe, and somebody else pointed out to me on one of my threads. I missed this entirely. But Donald Trump at one point he slipped in there that she puts out. So for those of you who are young, who are not familiar with the term puts out, back in the day, that meant someone was promiscuous. Someone had the tendency to sleep around. And that was one of those nasty rumors circulated by people on the right. And they only do this. They only do this to women. This is what they do. Donald Trump can brag openly about grabbing women by their vagina and not suffer any political fallout from that. He can be in a court case about spending $130,000 hush money to keep it quiet that he had sex with a porn star while he was married and his wife was pregnant. And again, I don't get it. This guy appeals to the Christian evangelical right. It's insane to me. Anyway, the expectations for this debate were sky high. I was nervous as hell. Here's a fun fact. Fun fact is, before I do this show, every Friday before I do this show, I've been doing this show for a few years now, I get nervous. I do get nervous. And I know all of you guys by name. I do. I still get nervous. So multiply that nervousness that I normally feel on Friday before I get rolling to like 1,000 times percent prior to this. I don't know why. I think it's because, before Joe faced off with Spanky, I thought Joe was going to beat his ass, and we were, shocked. I knew Kamala Harris had it in her, and wifey was like talking me off the ledge. She was not worried at all. She was like, she looked at me like, "What? What's wrong with you?" Of course she's going to do well. She was not. She had no doubts whatsoever. I was just nervous. You never know what to expect. Anyway, prior to the debate, they had rules for this. There was no opening statements, which I was kind of disappointed in. I like the opening statements thing, but whatever. There was no audience. I approved that. Because I feel like having an audience kind of does tend to sway the home audience. Similarly, I like comedy shows now, sitcoms, without the laugh track. I prefer them without the laugh track. Shows like The Office, shows like Arrested Development, Modern Family. There's no laugh track. It's just like you either get it or you don't get it. That I like. No pre-written notes or huddling with staff. Again, I approve of this, as an attorney, as a district attorney, as a attorney general, as a prosecutor, even as a senator, United States senator, she often had to think on her feet extemporaneously. And she's good at that, as we saw. But she was also very prepared. And this is something else that attorneys are very good at too. And these assholes, these trolls, I am bombarded by bots and trolls. Every single tweet that I post, the first 20 to 30 replies are bots, and it's really annoying as hell. And microphones will be muted when it's not the candidate's turn to speak. And I thought it was interesting that the Trump campaign fought to have, they wanted Trump's mic muted. They wanted his mic muted while she speaks. They didn't trust him to be able to control himself. They might have been afraid that he would have let an N-word slip past his lips. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, you know. But yeah, so I thought that was funny as hell, and it was irrelevant. It was irrelevant. The Harris campaign wanted hot mics. They wanted the mics on because they know, he's got a very good chance of blowing his top, and they were like, "That's all right. We'll make him blow his top anyway," and that's what they did. And it was a plan. It was a game plan executed to perfection. Oh, Bernadette brings up a good point here. They unmuted Trump's mic too much. I don't think so. I think so. There was a point people made, it's a very true, valid point, that Donald Trump actually got 5 minutes more speaking time than Kamala Harris did. 5 minutes. That's a lot more speaking time. That was 5 more minutes that he had to damage himself. Every time he had, it's not like, some of the criticism about the debate was that was that the moderators were moderating too much. I don't think so at all. Apparently, he told 33 lies during the debate. I thought it was way more than 33, but 33. They only fact checked him on 5, whereas Kamala got a 1 fact check. Too bad, so sad. As far as preparation is concerned, Tulsi Gabbard was Donald Trump's debate coach. I think also Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't know if Laura Loomer was actually, come to think of it, I bet you Laura Loomer had more influence on Donald Trump than either Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard, because he went in there locked and loaded with this goddamn conspiracy theory, which we'll get to in a minute there. But my favorite part of this debate, hands down, favorite part of this debate was the opening handshake. And I'll show you in a second why. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Here, let's go back out. Come on now. Let's try it again. Let's refresh this. Dude. Sometimes this bookmark thing works and sometimes it doesn't. No, look at this. What is this? What is this? All right, we'll get back to that in a second here. I don't know what happened there, but hang on. Let's see. Is it here? This is bizarre as hell. Anyway, long story short, Donald Trump was going to attempt to not shake her hand at all. He was just going to go straight to his podium. And I thought, what kind of bullshit is this? Because first, he started to walk in front of the podium towards the center of the stage, right? And then he diverts himself to behind the podium. And Kamala Harris does not break her stride one bit. She goes directly to this son of a bitch and she holds out her hand and she says, "Hi, Kamala Harris." She makes sure she pronounces her name properly for that son of a B, because he constantly does that that thing where he pretends he doesn't know how to pronounce her name. I've heard him actually pronounce her name correctly, maybe by accident. He's such a fucking jackass. Yeah. Okay, I found it. I just need to show you this because I'm sure you've all seen it already, but it's so stark.
Kamala Harris. It's up good to see you. Have fun. Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you.
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate. She's like a perfect good sport, right? That's what you want to be. You want to show the American people, hey, I'm not a petty little petulant child. I'm a grown up, you know? You watch sports, you watch a boxing match. The guys, they come out, they're about to beat each other's brains in, but what do? They touch gloves first. This is good sportsmanship. He showed at the very beginning of this thing, A, that he's petty, and B, that he's a little punk ass bitch. She already owned him. And throughout the debate, he did not make eye contact with her one time. One time. Not only is that disrespectful, but that's actually kind of chicken shit. That's chicken shit. You can't look somebody in the face when they're telling you you're a disgrace on national TV. That's appalling. Yes, Trump Reaper says Harris comes out there like a boss. Stella Baxter says, I wish they had a bottle of hand sanitizer for Kamala. That would have been actually icing on the cake if she immediately went to the hand sanitizer after that. Yeah. This was great. Excuse me. Nurse Mitch says she's a human being and he's the maniac from Mar-a-Lago. Blue Lady says Mary Trump said part of her hoped Kamala wouldn't shake his hand because she didn't want her to have to touch him. Interesting point there. Danny Toledo said, even when he said, I'm speaking. So he didn't even, I'm glad you brought that up because he didn't even get that right? He said, excuse me, I was saying something. Like it didn't even have the same heft to it, and excuse me, she didn't even attempt to keep speaking because that sucked the oxygen away from his attempt. Then he followed it up like, you see what I did there? You recognize that? He was trying to like clown her, but you didn't have it, bro. You didn't say. If he had said, I'm speaking, or excuse me, Madam Vice President, because that's what she said. Kamala said to Mike Pence, she said, excuse me, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. That was dramatic. Trump, you blew it. You blew it on so many different counts. Fail. 100% fail. There was no punch in that at all. And there we go. All right. Where was I? So there were a lot of great moments in this. Let's talk about the moderators because, like I said, they did fact check. They did fact check Donald Trump 5 times. I thought they could have fact checked him more, but I think 5 was a good number. It was almost like a game of basketball. I would say in the playoffs. You guys might notice in the playoffs, the referees tend to not call every single foul that those of you, I'm sorry if you don't watch basketball. I apologize for this analogy there, but in the basketball playoffs, referees tend to not call every foul. They say they let the guys play. They let them play, and this is kind of what they did for the most part. They held him up on some of the more egregious lies, like the post-birth execution. I don't know how he gets away with saying that. Even in this, anywhere he goes, he repeats that lie. Whether it's at a rally or whether it's a press conference, he repeats that over and over as though he's never been, corrected on that before. He doesn't care what the facts are. But when I think it was 67 million people are watching, when that number of people are watching, it is your responsibility to fact check that shit into oblivion. It's a fucking lie. There's a saying that goes, if somebody tells you that it's raining acid outside, it's not your job to report that somebody said that. It's your job to check it out and verify that shit. I'm I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it is. So yeah, if you had to encapsulate the debate into one picture, this would be that picture. You have Donald Trump yelling at the camera or yelling at the moderators, or just yelling, and Kamala Harris laughing on the side. I do have a few excuse me, I do have a few clips to share. Excuse me, I'm speaking. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Did I lose it again? I swear to God, Twitter, you stink. You stink. Let's see. Kamala HQ. Kamala HQ is actually very helpful in terms of here we go. Let me point out how freaking incredible that is, that she said, "You are a disgrace." Oh, wait a minute. Am I not sharing the right tab? I'm sharing the wrong tab. Let's stop sharing this tab here. Let's share this other tab. Excuse me. I'll get this right. Yeah. The fact that she told him to his face that he is a disgrace was just, it hit like a 2x4 right across the face. You are a disgrace. Let me continue.
It's important to remind the former president, you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. The alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. I absolutely support.
She basically tore his she tore his heart out. Um, excuse me, when she made that comment about people leaving his rallies out of exhaustion and boredom, and she wasn't lying. You know, she was 100% right. And I know because I live on Twitter. So I've seen video after video of people leaving the rally well before it's over. I've seen our friend Walter Masterson, who's been on the show with us a few times. I've seen him interviewing people on their way out and people saying, I've had it. It's enough. I've had it. This is same old, same old. It's tired. It's tired. And it's constantly a thing with Donald Trump where he is the emperor who has no clothes and nobody's telling him that he's butt naked. Nobody's telling him. Nobody either gives a shit enough about him or they're afraid that they'll be kicked out of the orbit of his grace. And I mean, who the hell wants to be in his orbit anyway, smelling, that? But he erupted after that. If there is one thing you can always trigger Donald Trump on, it's the crowd size. And excuse me, if he had a game plan going into this debate beforehand, that whole game plan, the whole game plan was thrown out the window. I've heard commentators talk about, he should have hit her on the economy. He should have hit her on the border. And we've seen him do that before with Joe Biden. In fact, in the last debate, every single question Donald Trump was asked, he didn't even answer the question. He came back with something that had to do with the border, and something had to do with, and it was lies about the border, lies about immigrants. And that leads me to what he countered with during this debate. He says, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. This was a 78-year-old man who already is being lampooned and ridiculed all over the place for his fascination, his inability to stop talking about Hannibal Lecter and sharks and batteries and toilets and windmills that cause cancer. And now he's on to this thing about Haitian immigrants eating dogs and cats. So what was the purpose? The purpose of his unearthing this internet nonsense was to instill fear, was to stoke fear of otherness. Haitian, remember back in the day when he was talking about shithole countries? Haiti was one of those shithole countries he was referring to. He doesn't consider Finland or Denmark or Switzerland a shithole country. Plenty of immigrants come from there too. No, he considers the places with black people to be shithole countries. When he talks about languages, people speaking languages no one has ever heard of, where else could he be talking about? Because if you're talking about South America, you're speaking Spanish down there or Portuguese. Either way, you've heard Spanish and Portuguese, right? But Africa, people are talking Swahili and other, languages that have sounds, that you may be unfamiliar with. That's what he's talking about. So yeah, he pulled out that ugly internet lie, and he ended up making a joke, making a bigger ass of himself. And I was glad. I was glad for it. I was glad that that America got to see this buffoon, this absolute buffoon. And this debate was so bad that he went afterwards, he went into the spin room himself. Now, that's normally the job of your campaign staff. Your campaign staff is in the spin room to spin your performance. If you had a shitty night, you know, then that's on your campaign managers and your staffers to spin it into something better. But there he was, like a doofus. And it wasn't close. He's trying to claim that he won this debate. And sorry, you're in the Newsmax. Nobody believes Newsmax. Let's check in with a source that normally people don't trust at all. Let's check in with Fox News. Hang on. Here, look at this.
I mean, that's something Saturday Night Live. I mean,
This is, in case you're unfamiliar with the guy in the screen, that's Bill O'Reilly.
I mean, they talk about migrants eating dogs and cats. I mean, that's something Saturday Night Live would do. Why would you even bother to do that?
He was childish. He was creepy. He was cringy. That thing about eating dogs, they eat dogs. He was obsessed with it. He wouldn't let it go. He put that bone in his mouth and he rattled it. And I thought that she withstood Hurricane Trump. She came across as competent, even confident after that first half hour, which I agree with you, Trump, that was definitely his best half hour. Then he just descended into chaos. He couldn't make a straight point. He kept returning to generalizations as thinking that through braggadocio alone that he could prevail. He was terrible tonight. And you can apologize for him all you want, but he did not seem presidential. He wouldn't even have made the debate team at a junior high.
All right, that was not Fox News, but my Twitter is acting stupid now, so I can't find any of the clips that I saved to my bookmark thing. I think I might have too many bookmarks, but hang on a second. I can find it. Oh yeah, wait, no, that's a different one. Karl Rove had some negative comments about about how bad the debate went. RFK Jr. Said that Kamala Harris clearly won the debate. Here we go. Found it. I finded it. And I'm going to end up having to clip this out of my out of my show because actually I'm not even going to bother playing it. It's got music. If I have music from some other source, YouTube is like, no, you may not. The Daily Caller. The Daily Caller, the right-wing rag thought 73% thought that Trump won. That's, of course, that's an internet poll. The internet polls are notoriously bad. Let's talk about who Laura Loomer is. Those of you who are who spend a lot of time online and on Twitter probably already know Laura Loomer. But if you were to do a search on Twitter, you would find a picture of Laura Loomer next to this guy. Who is this? This is Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer is a neo-Nazi. That's who Richard Spencer is. Here's this other guy. God damn, what's his name? He's the other white supremacist that met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. You guys know. Help me out with this one here. He's also cannot remember his name. Nick Fuentes. Thank you, guys. So yeah, Laura Loomer is a conspiracy theorist who has had some things to say about 9/11. She said 9/11 was an inside job. And she has recently been spending quite a bit of time with Donald Trump. A lot more time than, Melania has spent with him. She's probably spent more time with Donald Trump over the past 2 weeks than Melania has spent with him this whole year. Bernadette Ramos, Bernadette is saying she's pregnant. Whose baby is it? I don't know about that. I do not know about that. But what I can say is that whether or not she's carrying a baby is irrelevant. She is carrying ideas and then passing them on to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump walked into that debate with his head full of that internet bullshit about Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs and pets. And it was ugly, disgraceful moment in American history. He was trying to otherize, dehumanize Haitian immigrants. So here's the story. The story, So she commemorated 9/11. Oh, he commemorated 9/11 with the 9/11 conspiracy theorists. Like, this is a guy who cares nothing for norms or for anything whatsoever. Here's a tweet with her saying she's late to the NYPD press conference because she couldn't find a non-Muslim cab driver for over 30 minutes. She was looking for a non-Muslim Uber or cab driver. This is who she is. She's virulently racist, Islamophobic. Here's how bad she is. She is so awful that I had to agree with Marjorie fucking Taylor Greene, of all people. Marjorie Taylor Greene says this is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. You believe this? If it's too out there for Marjorie Taylor Greene, forget about the fact that she's jealous that, Laura Loomer is spending all that time with Trump. She's saying this type of behavior should not be tolerated ever. Laura Loomer should take this down. And what is she saying? Laura Loomer is saying that if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry and White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center. And the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call that nobody will understand. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And Stella Baxter, you make a great point there. Seeing MAGA fighting from within is interesting indeed. So here's the story. The actual story. There's two stories. There's 11-year-old Aiden Clark, who was killed on his way to school in Springfield, Ohio. And it was a car accident. And the person who was driving the car was a Haitian illegal immigrant, undocumented immigrant. So the father, Nathan Clark, came out the other day and made an eloquent speech in which he begged Republicans, and specifically by name, he called out Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and asked them to please stop invoking his son's name in the name of that anti-Haitian hatred. Stop using his son's name to further their hateful political conquest. bravo to that father. That father is still grieving the loss of his 11-year-old boy. Can you even imagine the pain and suffering that this father is dealing with? So not only was that, so that was one thing. I would say that a few years ago, Springfield, Ohio, was suffering a excuse me. They were suffering a labor crisis. They were short a lot of workers. Haitian immigrants were suffering a crisis of not having somewhere to go while their country is in the midst of some major upheaval, and a lot of Haitians have migrated just to save their own lives. There's a lot. It's dangerous over there. Even the cops in Haiti are in danger from gangs and gang violence. So people have migrated, and over the past 2 years, I think 20,000 Haitian migrants have gone to Springfield, Ohio. So their population has grown by that amount, and they filled in a lot of jobs that were missing. They've been granted temporary citizen status. I think that's what it's called. So they're here legally. They're not illegal, first of all. They're here legally. And they're being productive. Some of them have even opened up businesses. That town is thriving. And then there was an instance in, I think it was Canton, Ohio, which is 170 miles away from Springfield, Ohio, in which a woman who is not Haitian, nor is she an immigrant, she was born and raised here. She, I think, killed a cat. I'm not sure if she ate it, but that was captured on a body cam. And this is what, Trumpers and idiots are using as evidence. See, look, body cam evidence. But she's not Haitian, nor is she an immigrant. You guys are just making bullshit up. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And then Elon Musk, Mr. Millionaire Fuckface, vote for Kamala if you want this to happen to your neighborhood. Excuse me. So he is also helping to stoke the flames. This is a guy who has billions of dollars. He could probably solve some of the hunger crises on Earth, instead of plunking down $43 billion to destroy a perfectly good app, social media app. You could have used that $43 billion to solve world hunger, So yeah, it's a nasty conspiracy theory that they are going to, Donald Trump has doubled down on this thing. He's doubled down on this. He's also pretending like during the debate, he's like, oh, I don't know. This is just, I saw it on the TV. I saw it on the TV. This is what an actual presidential candidate offered as a reason for passing along a malicious lie about human beings here. Now, here's a fun fact. The fun fact is that there are almost 800,000 Haitians living in America. Half of them are in Florida. Florida is the state that is considered solid red, never going to flip. I know people on the ground who are saying otherwise. People like Nikki Fried. She actually believes that there is a chance. And this was before Donald Trump decided to vilify, 400,000 Haitian residents in Florida. So we shall see what happens with that. Trump's ugly rants about Haitians suddenly take on a more sinister hue. Bomb threats. Bomb threats have come to Springfield, Ohio. Why don't Trump and J.D. Vance back off the demagoguery? Because supercharging all these toxic social tensions is precisely what they want. That's part of their game plan. Part of their game plan is they realize that Kamala Harris's coalition, very diverse coalition, is incredible. It's going to be hard to beat. In fact, I have a page about that in The Littlest President. This is one of the pages. It's not colored in yet, obviously, but yeah. Win with black women and win with black men. White women answer the call. White dudes for Karis. Suddenly, a massive and diverse coalition came together, coalescing quickly. So this is one of the pages in The Bigliest Loser that will be coming out soon. Excuse me. Continued threats in Springfield, Ohio. Newsroom just received this statement from Springfield City School District saying several school buildings have been evacuated or are closed today based on information received from the Springfield Police Division. So yeah, these are actual threats to people in Springfield, Ohio, based on the hatred, the hateful lies being spread by Donald Trump. And I just want to give you guys a quick update on some of the pages in The Bigliest Loser here. This is a page talking about the 88 indictments. It reads here, the legal floodgates burst open. Everywhere he turned, Spanky was indicted. He was indicted for fraud. He was indicted for election interference. He was indicted for taking classified documents. He was indicted for falsifying business documents. He was indicted for conspiracy to defraud the United States on January 6th. Altogether, Spanky had 66 indictments. Spanky was a criminal. So, of course, I have this page, just so you guys know, this is just a line art drawing, and where you see color, it's just it's temporary. It's just fleshing out where things are going to go. We have sharks here representing some of the indictments. One shark says fraud on it. Another one says election interference. Another shark says falsifying documents. There's a guy on a surfboard there that is Jack Smith, and on Jack Smith's surfboard it says classified documents. And there's some other interesting details there you guys will see. There's the lifeguard there is none other than Letitia James, and next to her on the sand I don't know if you guys remember during the inauguration, Bernie Sanders was there with his like mittens and whatnot. That's Bernie Sanders with the mittens on the beach. The woman who's running there behind Spanky is Alina Habba. Yeah. And let's see what's next here. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is many years ago, Spanky cheated on Malaria with a porn star named Glory Handles, as opposed to Stormy Daniels. He paid her $130,000 so that she wouldn't say anything and mess up his chance to be president. But he falsified business records to hide it, and that made it a felony. Spanky was found guilty of 34 counts. Spanky was a convicted felon. There on the bench, in his cloud of what do you call this? In this cloud of odor, there is on the far left, that's Matt Gaetz. Next to him with the mask and the straight jacket, that is Hannibal Lecter in the middle. Next to him is Don Jr. And there on the edge of the bench, dressed as a cave woman, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. On the other side there, we have Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, and then on the far right there, that's also Bernie Sanders. Last but not least, this last page I'm sharing with you today is, excuse me, is the passing of the torch from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, known in the book as Mamala Harris. Mo Ryden had spent most of his life in public service. He recognized that Spanky was a huge threat to democracy, and he refused to risk letting Spanky back in the Oval Office. So after much consideration and difficult soul searching, Mo Ryden decided to make a difficult sacrifice. He would withdraw from the race and endorse his vice president, Kamala Harris. And suddenly, just like that, Democrats were electrified and hopeful. And Spanky, the weird old guy who'd spent millions on ads attacking Mo Ryden, suddenly had a new, vibrant, exciting opponent. Spanky was screwed. And there you can see at the bottom center of the page there's Spanky with his different ads. I hate Ryden, Mo is old, etc. This is now all useless attack ads because he's not facing Joe Biden, aka Mo Ryden. He's now facing Kamala Harris, aka Mamala Harris. So that's what I have to share with you on the Bigliest Loser, which, as I said, will be available in October. We've made excellent progress. Now it's just a question of getting these pages colored in, uploaded, and ready to print. So I'm very excited. I'm really excited about this. I am so proud of how this book has come together. The pages, if I already thought John Kelly, the artist on this, was a highly talented guy. He has shattered my expectations. Just done a tremendous job. I think he's gotten better somehow over the past several years. So I'm excited for you guys to see this. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Yeah, so what else can I say? Did you guys what was your favorite moment of the debate on Tuesday? I think mine was when she told him that I think is when she told him that she was a disgrace, that he was a disgrace, and when she told the audience that you should check out a Trump rally so you can see people leaving early. That was hilarious. Lula Girl, thank you for the donation. Thank you very much. Okay, so you guys are just signing off. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys here next week, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.